the technical difficulties, folks. Money short and times are hard over here. But yes, um, we don't know the things that have happened with Priscilla. Her book is interesting. Have you read her book?
No, no,
Okay.
I know she's got another one coming out too.
Oh yes. There's a few fans in uproar about that book.
Look, I don't begrudge anybody. Get your coins.
There's a lot of people who do begrudge in the Elvis community. Um, I know there's one person, I'll keep her name out of it, but she feels as if anyone who has written an Elvis book, I'm not trying to bring anybody down, just saying, it's like they were just trying to make money off of him because the Presley name has money.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny how they started out with nothing and Elvis did what he did. And then if you got the name Presley or you're attached somehow, sadly, they want to say that that was a money scam, kind of without being a scam. The money, the Presley
Right.
name has power.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on a lighter
I,
note, when I know you read books,
yeah.
do you have a favorite book of Elvis's?
I think it has to be Destined to Die Young. I'm glad that I read that one first because that really humanized him. And that was and I'm not a medical doctor, but it seemed like the author was able to take away like all the fame and the glitz and stuff like that and then really just drill down to what really might have been going on like away from the fame and stuff like what was going on in his body and she was able to trace it back in his mother and his aunts and uncles. Like these are serious issues, and I could relate. A lot of us have diabetes in our family and heart disease and things like that. So he was a man, he was human. And so just because you can sing and dance and you're fine does not
So
mean
beautiful, such a beautiful human being.
I mean the profile, can we
Mm.
get a little commotion for the profile? But but she humanized him. So just because you look like that doesn't mean that you don't have other issues going on, and talking about his twisted colon and the fact that this is something that he dealt with like from as a child. So while all this other stuff was going on the outside, he was still dealing with very real stuff that we all deal with. So it was really eye opening. It was really eye opening. And I thought, he was a human being. He had that high blood pressure and, probably shouldn't have been eating the stuff he was eating.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. I can attest when you have money, you'll get whatever you want because it's your money. Who's gonna stop you? Uh,
And if you didn't grow up with much either, you want all of the things that you never had.
right.
And
Kept it
we do that
simple.
now.
True. True. Yeah. I would say the first book I actually read was
Mhm.
Jun Nico's book. That was one of his earlier girlfriends, like right when he got famous
Yeah.
in '56. And she's my
Mhm.
favorite girlfriend as well.
Which one?
Jun Nico.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the
She's your
Twilight
favorite girlfriend.
era. Hmm?
She's your favorite girlfriend?
Yeah, she's my favorite.
Okay.
Cause, well, first off, she she got some sister in her as well. My favorite scene in that book is this one. One of her best friends named Buddy Conroy, he was a big Elvis fan. He knew Elvis liked
Uh-huh.
cars, and then
Yeah.
to find out that one of his best friends was dating Elvis, he was like, "Girl, you got to introduce me." And she was like,
Yeah.
"I guess so," but he was like, "Drive my car. I know he likes cars. Take my car." Like he had money. He just bought a new car, and he said, "If he sees me first, he'll know I'm cool. If he sees the car first."
Yeah.
So she drove the car.
Yeah.
Elvis saw her driving the car. He knew she didn't have like she could not afford that car. He knew he didn't get
Yeah.
it for her. So then it was like, "Where'd you get the car?" And then she was like, "Isn't it a beauty? It's a friend of mine." He's like, "Where'd you get the car from?" And then she said, "It's my friend's. He's gonna come see." And then he tells her, her words
Yeah.
were, he said, "I don't care who you fuck, June," and walked away from her. He said this in front of all the boys. Her best friend was in the car, and she said, "To hell with you, Elvis. I'm gone." And she got in the car, and then her friend Pat said, "Girl, you go in there and you straighten him out right now." She's like, "No, we leaving." Pat said, Pat got out of the car, went to the driver's seat, opened the door, and said, "You go in there and you straighten that man out right now." And she said, in her words, I was standing toe to toe with the king. And she said, "Elvis Presley, I don't appreciate you disrespecting me and talking to me like that." Yeah, she did. I was like, "Oh, that's some sister right there. That's sister energy right there." And then he pulled her in the bathroom. Again, Elvis doesn't really apologize to nobody, but he roughly pulls her in the bathroom. He's like, "Baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you like that." Like, just,
Away from everybody. Yeah.
because he still has to be seen as the alpha.
He's so doggone trifling sometimes. Okay, so you can say that in front of everybody. The
But you can't
apology is never as
apologize.
loud as the disrespect.
Right.
Come on
Right.
now.
Yeah. I was like, homegirl was like, "Look," my friend was like, "I ain't gonna let him disrespect you. You not say nothing, because that's
Yeah,
not you. And it
right,
sure ain't me.
right.
So what we
Okay,
doing?"
I have to get this book. Now
Mm-hmm.
there's another book. Now that one, Destined to Die Young, is my favorite of all time. But there's another one, and I can't remember, and I feel really bad because I had dinner with her during Elvis week, but she wrote 3 books, and they're like our diaries.
Oh. On
And
Elvis?
yes, I'm
Oh.
blanking on her name, and I have them right on my desk. I don't want to run up and go get them right now, but they are is her diaries. She was young. Hang on.
Okay.
Hurry Home Elvis by Donna Lewis.
Oh, Donna Lewis. Okay, cool.
Please, girl, amazing. So
Oh.
that first one, Destined to Die Young, was good and like gave the history and why he was taking the medications he was taking, stuff like that. These were written by Donna Lewis, and she was young at the time. And there's 3 versions of them, and they go from 62 to 66, 67 to 68, 69 to 77. So this is the last.
Okay, and it's
And these
black
are her,
because that's the dark years. I get it.
yes. And these
Mhm.
are her diaries that she's keeping because she's always at Graceland. I think maybe her dad works with him or something like that. I can't remember. I don't want to misspeak, but she's always there. And she's at the gate and she gets to talk to him and considers him friends, sees him at Liberty Land, all these things. And through her eyes, you see him getting really, really famous. And then the movie years where he's not like around Graceland so much. And then when things get kind of bleak, um, yeah. If they had made a movie, if they make another movie, they need to make it off these books.
Okay, I really
Because
feel like I wish I was a director, because I would direct June Juanico's story and I would title it Elvis and June, but I would want Austin Butler to come back as Elvis.
from I'm glad you said that. So from now on, anytime someone needs an Elvis in a movie, they need to go ahead and snatch him up. Because
Oh,
he's Elvis for so many.
yeah, yeah,
I
because
mean, he won't want to because he's want to, get away from that. But
I think he still loves doing it though, because there'll be people, he'll be on the red carpet, and if he doesn't hear them say Austin, he'll hear them say
yeah,
Elvis and he'll turn around like that's his name. They did it at one premiere and he turned around and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" But he's talking, he's himself, but he's it's
has his voice like changed.
imagine. Now, actually, I can hear the difference. He does not have the southern twang, and I know because I'm from the South. Elvis had
Uh-huh.
that southern twang. He was in that voice for as long as he was, but he doesn't have the southern twang. Austin Butler.
Yeah,
What had happened was his voice is deeper. That is
yeah,
true.
yeah,
From being in that voice for so long, because Elvis had a deep voice as well. But yeah, it's not the same.
yeah. He was so good in that role. It's crazy how good he was. That's
Mm.
why, like, if they have a movie and there's like an Elvis, like, like a Forrest Gump type situation where they cross paths, like you can't get anybody else because he is. that's the closest thing we've got for now.
And not to mention, God bless the dearly departed, Lisa Marie said Austin Butler was it. That was it. Like she said, so many people have tried to play my father. Pause.
Yeah.
God rest their hearts. It's like they did terrible. And I already know she would have hated the Priscilla movie. Um, yeah. hmm I'm gonna leave it at that. She would have hated it. She didn't approve it either. Her mother approved it. But yeah, I don't want to go into that one. That's
Yeah.
a dark
Yeah. I
that's
do
dark.
know that yeah. That guy who played the actor who played Elvis in that movie.
Jacob E. Lordy, yeah.
Yeah. He
hmm
um he rubbed me the wrong way as a fan because he was so dismissive when people were talking to him about it. And he was like, well, the only thing I knew about Elvis was like from Lilo and Stitch. And it's like, what? Really? You're really gonna say that out of your mouth? Like you can't make up something. Like that's what you're standing on that. That's your research. And then contrast that with Austin Butler, who like lived, breathed, everything Elvis and really immersed himself in the role. And you could tell. And I haven't seen the Priscilla movie, so I don't know how good or bad he was. But
That
when you just
two
feel,
hours and what was it? 2 hours and 15 minutes of my life I will never get back.
oh, was that good?
Well, he also said in an interview, if you're looking for an Elvis impersonator, that's not what I'm doing. I get it. So then I'm like, are you trying to throw shade at someone who just played Elvis who was not impersonating at all? But because I had a little crush on Jacob B. Lordy. So then I'm like, she also was not focusing on Elvis. What the director Sophia Coppola she was trying to do was focus on Priscilla. It's Priscilla's story. So she literally just got somebody that was 6 foot tall. He looks nothing like Elvis. His eye color isn't Elvis's. She didn't even give him contacts. He does not sound like him. He literally is just doing kind of like he said he was trying to find the man because that's he doesn't have to put on a show for Priscilla. Any girlfriend he didn't have to put a show on for. He's just being him. But yeah, just I did a whole review. If you look it up, I just
You
no.
did a whole review?
I did a movie review. If
You
you go
did?
to
Okay.
YouTube, I did a
All right.
movie review on that. Yeah, because
Okay. Yeah. Because I already knew I wasn't going to watch it. I mean, I'm not president of the Priscilla Presley fan club by any means, but um, yeah, I was like, no, because after Austin Butler did the job that he did, and then you hear about the respect and the reverence, and then you hear about Lisa Marie Presley blessing off on it, because she did not mince words, right? If she didn't care, she was going to tell you.
she was her
And so,
father's child.
absolutely.
She told
So
the
if she
truth.
Yeah. So if she said it was good, then like Austin Butler's portrayal was amazing. And so I was gonna give Jacob the benefit of the doubt, but then when he came out with the Lilo and Stitch, uh,
I'm going to give him another pass because he's not from the United States of America. So
oh, he's not?
no, I think he's either Australia. I think he's Australian.
Oh,
So I mean, Elvis is global though. He didn't make
that's
it around the world, but there are people worldwide that know who Elvis Presley is.
yeah.
So
I mean,
there
we
are
have
people.
EPAs from all over the world too, and they're able to show respect. So, like, if you couldn't find source material to play Elvis Presley, you're just not looking. You're just not looking. Maybe you can play Walt Disney. How about that? Play Walt Disney. There's a lot of information about him, and they don't have a Lilo and Stitch about him. So why don't you just go ahead and play Walt Disney, right? There's a lot of good information out there, man. So
Mhm.
up to you.
We're gonna pray for him. Next question. We're gonna wrap it up real quick. Favorite movie and favorite song?
Of Elvis,
Yes.
let's see. Favorite movie is Live a Little, Love a Little.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking about that the other day.
And yeah, that's my favorite movie. It's goofy, and it's got one of my favorite songs in it. And my favorite song of his is "I John."
I Jump.
"I John."
I John. I have to look that up. That one I'm not familiar with.
It's one of his gospel songs.
Oh,
Way
amen.
up in the middle of the air, I John somebody number.
Oh, I know that song. Wait a
Way
minute. He did that on that other movie. He did that on a movie. I've seen that movie.
He did it on one of the documentaries. I don't know if it's That's the Way It Is or if that was Elvis on tour. I want to say it was That's the Way It Is, but it's one of those behind the scenes, and he's singing with the Sweet Inspirations and the male group.
Yeah, the
And
Imperials. Yeah.
yes, and they're all standing around singing, and it's just kind of like an impromptu thing, but it's
Oh,
on one of his gospel albums.
okay. I John.
Yeah,
Okay, amen.
I love that
Well,
one.
everybody, we're gonna make it a wrap. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you, Miss K.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
Absolutely. My friend all the way in Arizona, y'all, that she was able to hang out for the day and talk EP with me. I love him
Yes,
so
I
much.
had a
He loves
blast.
me so much. It's all for the love of EP. So y'all stay tuned and we'll come back with another episode of Sips and Chill, Sips and Chill, Sips and Chill, Sips and Chill with RJ. Deuces.